And we're coming to you live from the Built Ford Tough Studio. Boomer Esiason and Greg Giannotti. It's Boomer and Gio on the Fan. Simulcast across the country on CBS Sports Network and wherever you're on the free Odyssey app. Good Friday morning, a feel-good football Friday. We will make this a feel-good football Friday, even though we got news last night that Met fans do not like, and that is Kyle Tucker getting this huge deal, $60 million a year from the L.A. Dodgers, who continue to build, continue to take what seems like every single free agent out there. So now the Mets have lost Edwin Diaz to the Dodgers, and they wanted to bring in Kyle Tucker. He goes to the Dodgers, and they made a big legitimate offer at $55 million a year. So I don't want to hear anybody complaining that Steve Cohen and David Stearns don't want to spend the money and they're only concerned with the casino. They made an offer to Kyle Tucker that was absurd, and the L.A. Dodgers made a more absurd offer, and he's out there because they win and the weather's better and they make deferments to make them not pay as many taxes. Boomer's been telling you that for years. Good morning, Boomer. How are you?
Flabbergasted, actually, and the reason I am is because this is why Major League Baseball is going to have a lockout. I mean, it's ridiculous. Now, I'm not going to sit here and complain that the Dodgers are spending money because I wanted my owner to spend money.
Exactly.
So I'm not going to complain about that. But what I'm trying to get to is this is the huge problem in Major League Baseball. There are literally about 7 or 8 teams that are the haves, and the rest are the have-nots. And that the players are happy and giddy. They love this. They're in a good situation. They make a lot of money. The Dodgers are spending money like crazy. They're deferring a ton of this money to stay away from some of those local income taxes. But what's happening here is that if you are the owner, and I know you don't like the guy, but I always use that as an example because it's a small market team, the Pittsburgh Pirates. You're sitting there going, "What? We have no shot."
Well, hold on though. Guys like that. So I heard Al and Jerry talking about this. Like, how do the Minnesota Twins survive? How do the Pirates survive? Because the L.A. Dodgers spent last year CBT tax, competitive balance tax, $169 million.
And they shared it.
And it's going to be more next year. And it goes to all the other teams. So these owners, they don't have a shot, but they don't care because they're taking that money, putting it in their pocket, and not reinvesting it because there's no salary floor.
But the problem is that Kyle Tucker's not going to play for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He's not going to play for the Kansas City Royals. He's not going to play for the Cincinnati Reds. He's going to one of the big 3, if you will. Mm-hmm. And the same thing with Cody Bellinger. He's not going to the Reds. He's not going to Tampa Bay. He's just not. And they're not going to make offers because they know that that's not where they want to go. They want to go where they believe they have a chance to win a championship. And that, right now, number one, that is the Dodgers. That's obvious to all of us. And this is why there's going to be a lockout. And again, remember, the lockout has nothing to do with the players. It has nothing to do with the players. It has everything to do with the split in ownership in Major League Baseball, in my eyes.
Yeah, well, the players are going to say you do not cap the salaries that we get because salary cap are the 2 words that they don't want to hear. So they'll be fighting back on that, but the competitive balance tax has served as somewhat of a salary cap to other teams. Like the New York Yankees, that's a salary cap for them. They've done nothing. They continue to do nothing. And when they went to get Trent Grisham and they had to pay him $22 million, that basically took up every cent that they were going to have to spend, and Hal said, and Brian Cashman has told us this how many times, Hal told him this is the number we have to stick at. So it's essentially like a salary cap. But then you have Steve Cohen, to one degree, going over that CBT tax. And then you have the Dodgers who don't give 2 craps about it.
But here's the thing. The Mets can sit here and say, we offered him $50 million.
55.
All right, up to 55. Well, at the end of the day, you have to try to match the contract that the Dodgers gave and do exactly what the Dodgers did if you wanted him. That's the only way you're going to get them.
But I don't even think the Dodgers would have stopped. Like, this is, I think if you matched what the Dodgers did, they would have gone further. And even if they didn't go further, Kyle Tucker probably would have chosen them over the Mets anyway. Because the Dodgers are just, at some point, someone's going to stop. And Steve Cohen stopped at 55, and the Dodgers went up to 60. I'm sure it started.
It is. Let me tell you something.
$60 million for Kyle Tucker?
Yeah, but God bless Kyle Tucker. I'm all for it. I'm like, and the other thing the Yankees have, their best player and the best player in baseball or second best player, depending on how you view Shohei Ohtani and his contribution to the Dodgers into Major League Baseball, is Aaron Judge, and he's only making $36 million a year. So it's almost like they have an internal stop. Like they're not paying Kyle Tucker more money than they're paying Aaron Judge. It's just not going to happen.
Well, the Mets offered, at least for AAV,
yes.
more for Kyle Tucker than they did for Juan Soto.
But the years.
Yeah,
the years is different. And the total is different. So
That's right.
Juan Soto's still making three times what Kyle Tucker's making.
Sure, yeah.
But the fact is that they went up to $60 million. And what is it, $200 million deferred?
Yeah.
It's something like that. I mean, it's crazy. And you take a look at some of these numbers. I mean, it just blows you away. But I understand why a lockout is looming. I totally understand it. And, again, it has really nothing to do with the players. I mean, the lockout will just be to force the players to the bargaining table to try to get a new CBA that's going to have to somehow, some way, the players are going to have to agree to some sort of, I guess, salary or some sort of thing to balance the league out even more so than what they have now. And I don't – look, if I'm the players, I'm not saying anything. My guys are getting paid.
Well, yeah, but don't you think, though, that if they limit teams like the Dodgers, the Mets, and well, I don't even know if you could put the Yankees in there anymore, but the Dodgers and the Mets, the players are going to balk at that because if there's a salary cap you can't go over, like the competitive balance act is a soft cap, but if it's a salary cap you can't go over, then Kyle Tucker's not getting that money. If Juan Soto, there's a salary cap you can't go over, maybe Juan Soto isn't getting that money. So if I'm the players and I'm thinking you have a hard cap, then these contracts are going to go away.
I know, that's my point. The players are not going to agree to this.
Yeah, but you said they're not really involved. It's not about them.
But they have to agree to a new CBA. That's, if the owners want to be able to put something in to control costs somehow and give them cost certainty, the players have to agree to it. I'm just telling you, it's looming now. I will say that if I were a player and I were making $60 million a year, I would not want to be a part of a lockout. I don't want to lose my salary. I don't want to lose the amount of money that I now have guaranteed. This is a Deshaun Watson contract. It's nuts. 4 years, $240 million?
Yeah, it's
that is insane. I mean, but good for him. Good for him. But I still say bad for baseball. And it doesn't, and I heard Evan, I think yesterday talking about, and he made a very good point. He goes, the Dodgers barely won the World Series. Toronto should have probably won the World Series. But my point back to that would be, but the Dodgers were in the World Series.
Right, and they also won the previous year.
Exactly. So, and they're probably going to make it again this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't, that's a funny argument to me. Like, I'd love to barely win a World Series. Like, what are you talking about?
I know, but all he was saying is that, and by the way, the Blue Jays are a big money, big spending team too. So you had two of your big money spending teams. I mean, give me the year when the Dodgers have to play the Rays. Give me the year when they play the White Sox. Give me the year when they play, I don't know.
Yeah, so this is where I look at who really needs to fix baseball. And to me, it's Major League Baseball itself, because a lot of these owners are okay with making money because of these tax bills, and they're not putting it on the team. Some of them are pissed off because they can't compete, and they want to have players, and they want to be able to sign players, and trying to build from within is tougher than doing what the Dodgers are doing. But I think a lot of them are okay with just pocketing this money if these teams are going to overspend. The players, we just detailed how it's great for them because there's no real salary cap, and these contracts are astronomical. Here's where I think that this is a huge problem is for Rob Manfred in baseball, because the more that you have all these markets and all these teams that are out of it year in and year out, that's when the fans die, because this is a regional sport, and we see it. We saw hockey become a huge deal in Las Vegas, in Nashville, because their team was winning.
Seattle,
in Tampa Bay, because their team was winning. Like, when your team wins,
yes,
you're in. And that's a regional sport as well in the NHL. So that's what baseball needs. And that's why I never really complain about expanding the playoffs, because you get more markets in. And when more markets are in, more fans are in, and then you grow more fans too because your team is good. But if it's the same teams every single year and your team isn't one of them, I mean, I was in Pittsburgh when they actually went to the playoffs for the first time in 20 years, but I also saw prior to that and after that. I mean, and that is a team that's won World Series. That is a team that's got a deep history. I mean, they're just dead. They're dead.
I know. So
it doesn't even feel like a major league team.
Let me ask you something. The Detroit Tigers made a little bit of a move last year. They were relevant. They were decent, and of course, Scooble was one of their better pitchers. And then, of course, you have Paul Skeens out in Pittsburgh. Do you think either one of those players want to be on the teams that they're on right now?
No, of course not. No.
I mean, and they can't wait to get out of there. Can't wait to get out of there.
Because getting out of there means that they're going to get these massive contracts.
Exactly.
That's what it means.
And the point being, for those teams, some teams will be so desperate that they will give up like the top 4 prospects in their system to go get those guys and pay them. But I mean, like whoever extracts Paul Skeens out of Pittsburgh, that's going to be big.
Yeah,
that is going to be big.
It's going to be a few more years. The Scooble thing's going to happen this offseason. It may even happen, not this offseason, the one coming up after next year. It might even happen at the trade deadline. So the Scooble one is imminent. The Skeens one's going to be a couple years down the road. But, yeah, I mean, they're either going to trade them. They have to trade them. They're going to trade them because they're not going to be in it.
I mean, the thing about it is, like, if I'm Paul Skeens, and I know you don't want to piss off your local fan base. You want to say all the right things about playing for the Pirates and how much you love Pittsburgh. But, I mean, there has to be a point where I have to have a chance to win a championship like when I'm this young. And we have no chance.
Well, and that's why, so the Major League Baseball draft and the NFL draft are just not the same because of the structures of the sport. So you could, if you're the equivalent of Paul Skeens, like Fernando Mendoza, you can go to a team that stunk and then all of a sudden be that savior and be great because they could build around you because you're a quarterback on a rookie contract, and then you can fill in the other positions in the salary cap.
Even his rookie contract is guaranteed for at least $50 million.
Sure. Now, that's
not the case for baseball,
right? And when you're Skeens, you go to a team that is the worst in baseball, whether it's the Pirates or the Nationals or whomever, the Orioles, and then you're stuck in that place, and you have to go through all these arbitration years and all this stuff, and then you don't hit free agency, and then if you're a pitcher, you get Tommy John, maybe. It sucks for the player.
But the amazing thing for those two players in particular, I mean, they're giving, if you look at what the top pitchers in baseball are making, they're already giving those teams $35 to $40 million appearances.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, they are the draw. They, when they're pitching, people want to come and see them, and they are so far out kicking their contracts.
Yeah. So I mean, but Scooble, he is now 29. So he just turned 29.
So he's going to get traded. He's going to sign a big deal.
Or he's going to just go to free agency and then
they have to trade him.
Well, they're not trading him in the offseason, so I guess it would have to be at the trade deadline because it seems like there's no noise around him getting traded right now.
I know that, but that would be like the Islanders allowing John Tavares to leave.
Well, maybe
without
they're
getting
in it.
something in return.
You got to remember, this team was really good last year. Maybe
it's
they're
like
in it.
Allowing Saquon Barkley to walk out of the building and get nothing in return.
Well, that was different because the Giants stunk, but the Tigers were good last year.
I know, but I'm saying I pointed to them as being they were relevant last year.
More than relevant. If at one point we were looking at them as the best team in baseball because they had the best record. So think about it. If they are winning their division next year at the trade deadline, they're trading them? You can't. You got to try to go into the playoffs and take it as far as you can. Because what's the most lucrative thing that you can have in sports?
Playoff money.
Yeah, you have to. You got to do it. So that's what it's a tough spot. Now, if they're terrible, yeah, you trade them. By the way, so his arbitration number for this upcoming year is going to be $22.5 million. So,
which is a reasonable amount of money for him, but he's thinking he's worth $35-40 million.
And he'll get it. Whatever team either trades for him or signs him in the offseason, he's going to get it.
I mean, it's just
as long as he doesn't get hurt.
I didn't want to get my hopes up that Kyle Tucker was coming here. I think they were using the Mets as leverage. That's what I believe, and to get the Dodgers up to the number that they got to.
Yeah. So
the Mets are basically, unless somebody really wants to come here or really wants to be traded here, let's say the Angels call up the Mets and say, Mike Trout's available.
I mean,
or the Yankees, Mike Trout's available. Could you imagine him running around in a Yankee uniform?
For how many games?
Yeah, that's the point.
I mean,
like, there's not much left on the bone here for either one of these teams to do.
It means Cody Bellinger, or it's a trade that we haven't heard about yet. That's what it comes down to. And Cody Bellinger, his demands have sounded crazy. Now it feels like after this Tucker deal that he's probably going to get closer to it if that's the market.
I know that everybody was talking about Tucker being the number one free agent. Cody Bellinger seems to me like he's a guy that could play multiple positions and do a lot of different things. So he's sitting there looking at this contract. What do you think he's thinking about?
Yeah, well, like I just said, he's probably
better average, more home runs, more RBIs.
Yeah, last year, but he Kyle Tucker didn't. He was out for a significant amount of time. Everybody, I think, in baseball, from the general manager standpoint, would rather have Kyle Tucker than Cody Bellinger. But Cody Bellinger, everybody's been balking at what he's been asking for. Now, after the Tucker deal, I think that it makes a little bit more sense what he's asking for. But the Yankees are clearly priced out now, aren't they? I mean, if they're not adding anybody and this Tucker gets $60 million and Bellinger, because all we've heard about how the Yankees and Bellinger are far apart. If I'm Bellinger, I'm not budging on my demands now after what I saw Kyle Tucker get.
So if he gets $60 million, Tucker gets $60 million for 4 years. What is Cody Bellinger going to get? $50 million for 4 years?
No. I can't imagine. No.
40 million?
I don't have a good answer for you.
By the way, we did not expect $60 million a year.
Well, we heard $50 million that the Mets were going to offer.
But we weren't expecting 60.
No.
That's an extra $40 million.
Yeah. From the Dodgers, who can do it.
I mean, I'm always going to come down on the player side when it comes to these things, but I have to say, it is like, it was really shocking. Like, you knew that the Dodgers, the Blue Jays, and the Mets were involved. Of course, they're all three of those teams are going to be involved, and the Toronto Blue Jays coming off of that World Series run, I'm sure they're very excited up there, trying to keep the team together and trying to do everything they can to add to that team because of all that excitement. And, of course, he uses the Mets and the Blue Jays to be able to get this money from L.A., which is really kind of sad, actually.
Yeah.
I almost feel like these players don't really want to play for the Mets.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, would you if you had other options?
Yeah, I would. But you're asking a Met fan. And Citi Field is great, and I love it, and I love going there. And
all right, if you're Kyle Tucker,
I know. And I have no tie to the local area, and I can go play for the Dodgers and put that uniform on, and I can play in Chavez Ravine, and I could be a part of something that is like so incredibly star-driven, and just be in the middle of that lineup and not worry about having an off year.
I mean, it's amazing the perception of the Mets from the end of 2024 to the end of 2025, where the Mets were coming off this NLCS appearance. They've got all the good vibes around them, Iglesias, OMG, and Lindor's amazing, and all this stuff that's going on. And they get to the NLCS, and they take the Dodgers to 6 games. They just can't beat them. Then Soto comes in the offseason, says, I chose the Mets because their farm system's this and that, and blah, 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 to now, where they've done essentially nothing this year.
What did Soto say?
Their farm systems are the best.
Okay. And plus they gave me a suite. Plus they gave me $765 million.
We know it was all bullcrap. But he's talking glowingly about the Mets organization and why he's.
You would too if you got paid $750 million.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to get to the point of now to this offseason where no one's saying anything good about the Mets. Not a single thing. They came off a terrible year. They got rid of players who wanted to be Mets and were loyal to the team.
They wanted to be Mets, but there was a real issue in the locker room.
No, I agree, and I agree.
And it was a political issue in that locker room that is not going away.
I agree with them not having those players still here. The point that I'm just trying to make, though, is the perception of the organization, like you're talking about free agents and how they view the Mets. This offseason was not a good time to sell the Mets, where 2024 was. You could sell the Mets after 2024. Selling the Mets after 2025 is a much more difficult thing to do. Just ask the people who are trying to sell the tickets.
And by the way, how does his contract compare to what Pete Alonso got for the Orioles? And what they were offering him compare? So they went up to what, $55 million?
Yeah.
For 4 years?
Yeah.
And they couldn't keep Pete Alonso?
They didn't want to keep Pete Alonso.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They didn't. It's not like they couldn't. They didn't want to.
Where are they going to get his home run and RBI production from?
I mean, I hear this all the time.
I just want an answer, you know?
That doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It's about wins and losses, right? I went over this. Pete Alonso had a miserable year in 2024, and they had a great year. He had a great year in 2025. They stunk. The Mets scored the same amount of runs by honestly, it was like two different run differential of like 2 over the course of the season in 2024 and 2025. They didn't have Juan Soto in 2024. They had Juan Soto in 2025, and he had this all-time offensive year. It's pitching, it's defense, it's when you hit the home runs. Just natural average home runs, RBIs, and runs scored. There's not a direct correlation to wins. There isn't. So where are they going to get that production from? I don't know. They collapsed and didn't make the playoffs. It reminds me of Ralph Kiner when he went into the office and said, I need more money. And the Pirates GM said, we could finish in last place without you.
I know that, but let me ask you this question. If you're from the player perspective, if you're Pete Alonso and you are one of the more popular players on the team and you're a homegrown Met, so to speak, and you're a Met fan and you're buying a ticket, aren't you going there hoping to see Pete Alonso hit a bomb or 2 bombs in a game?
There's lots of Met fans that are like that. I'm not like that. I want to see them win. I don't care who's in the uniform when they win. It doesn't make a difference to me. If he's a homegrown guy, if he's a mercenary piece of craps like Evans, I don't care. It's not about the name on the back of the jersey. It's like Joe Benigno says, so can we have our guy? Can we have our guy? Like, I don't care if it's our guy or not. Mark Messier was never your guy until he was when he won a championship. Would it have been more special if Mark Messier was a homegrown Ranger? No. Bull crap.
Oh, I think it would have been.
No, it wouldn't have been. He can't get more special than Mark Messier. Stop.
No, if he would have been a homegrown Ranger, we might have won 5 cups.
But meaning that one Stanley Cup, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter who is there when you win a championship.
But all right, so you're a fan that feels that way, and that's fine. And
there's a lot of Met fans who would rather lose with their players that they like than win with
that's
other
what I'm
players.
saying. I'm saying like that there was a draw that Peter Alonso, believe it or not, no matter how much of a cement head he may be or how much of a guy that could go 5 games without a hit and then the next 5 games hit 3 out of 3 home runs, 4 doubles, and driving 15 runs, but yet he was still a draw. He's still a draw. It's like it's always like in sports, and everybody says, why do these athletes get so much money? I said, well, you don't have to go see the games, but you love the athlete. You do love the athlete, and you want to see that athlete in your uniform. That's how we felt about Juan Soto when he came over as a free agent. We all wanted to see him in a Met uniform. We all knew it was going to happen. It was just a matter of time until it did happen, and finally it did happen. And how great was that press conference when he put that jersey on? Because we love the player and we love the jersey. But I do think that, again, these are all star-driven leagues. You have to remember that. And stars are why people want to go see these. The people pay money to see Aaron Judge. They pay money to see him. Around the country, when he goes on the road, Yankee fans will find games that they want to go to and make a weekend trip out of it.
Yeah, I'm kind of missing where's your landing point?
Well, my landing point is that I understand that you're saying you just want the team to win and you don't care who the players are. My landing point is I'm saying that the league is driven by stars and people want to see stars. And there is a obsession with Pete Alonso within the Met fandom. Mets always thought that he was their star, and he has gone for $150 million, which is nothing compared to what this guy just signed for.
What is the number one driving factor in making money and making fans?
Winning.
Okay. The GM believes that Pete Alonso somewhere else gives him a better chance to win. We'll see if he's right or not.
Yeah, he better be right.
You see if he's right or not.
Especially in light of who he's replaced him with at this point. And some of the trades that they've made. I do like the fact that Marcus Simeon's going to be here. I love that. I love that idea that, okay, let's get a seasoned, top-end defensive player in here that's a little bit older, a little bit more mature, and maybe bring some leadership to the clubhouse. I love that idea.
All right, we do have to take a break. It's Boomer and Gio on the Fan and CBS Sports Network. It is a feel-good football Friday. It doesn't sound like it yet, but we'll get to all of that stuff. Jerry Recco joins us in a couple of minutes with his first update of the morning. Got some weather for you right now.